to be 12 a.m. Is that good for you, Stefan?
Sure.
It's pretty much that time.
Wait, what are you doing?
You can press X. Okay.
I don't like being told what to do.
You didn't even try.
I try however I want. Okay, I can do whatever I want. Okay. I'm the axis of measurement here, not you stupid computer. I'll be in charge of this. Set the clock however I want to set it.
We're not even playing the game yet. It's talking shit about us setting the time. Press X again. Oh my god.
Angry? I'll decide what I am later. No favors. I don't know you. I'm neutral about this talk. Yeah, agreed. What?
Here, hold on. Let me look at this for a second.
I want to begin the game. I thought it was already beginning.
Why is it called this? Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
That's right, I hit the red button.
Kind of reminds me of that show I've been watching, Severance.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
No,
something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
This is where you take control.
Alright, well, first off, I don't want to talk to any of your coworkers.
What could it mean?
Well, good,
Stanley
they're not
decided
there.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Memo.
Maybe Stanley would never pick up the bucket. A lonely bucket, lonely and miserable. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yep.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yes.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
What if I don't want to?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Bucket, safety.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
It's like the game knows you.
Let's do it one more time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley, pick up the bucket.
Where's the bucket?
And why is it multiple quests? Like, I gotta pick up the bucket, I gotta go to the meeting room.
I don't know where the bucket is. Is it there?
Fuck your bucket. All the doors are closed. Jeez, they really took away my freedom, eh? They fucking put the shackles on. Alright, we're not letting this guy out again.
Oh, there's the bucket.
Where? Oh. Fuck your bucket. How do I get out of here?
I think you have to pick up the bucket.
Let me out of the Matrix! Let me out!
Alright, pick up the bucket.
Fuck it. We're just gonna play it long until we can sneak out of here. What? I can open them the whole time?
No, I opened it for you. Because you picked up the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh, I can hear the gears turning like...
Since they're probably watching us, we'll look like we're doing what we're told, but, you know, secretly we were planning a rebellion. Ooh, you in here?
No, I don't think you can actually open... You can go through... The doors have to be opened. Like...
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's
Kids are not getting
was where he'd
fired.
find answers.
Nice meeting room, though. I'll admit that. Look how spacious.
Yeah. A lot of good meetings are had.
I mean, usually they're pretty cramped. You know, look how these guys can, like, roll out here and, you know, like, put his feet up and shit, and no one's
They can play musical chairs.
Yeah.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I like how you're not even rushing, you're just slowly backing down the stairs. Like...
That's scary.
There's no horror elements in it, or monsters.
Oh, that's what you would say if you're trying to prank me right now.
I am being serious. Like, there are no monsters.
It sounds like there's a monster or something down here.
What the fuck?
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Will do.
Just put it in the bucket.
Yeah.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
Oh, no
his
way.
boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe he thought to himself. Maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these.
The wise
he held
bucket.
The bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and
okay,
comfort.
Matrix, you've broken me. I get it.
You guys keep walking.
It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Oh, there's all sorts of
He rushed
buckets.
forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
You're not Stanley!
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks.
No.
He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town.
No, he's not dead.
screaming to
CPR.
himself,
Help
and then
me.
collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right
just
away,
cryogenically
she knew
freeze me.
what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions, and how
Got a
everything
spare
is
bucket?
predetermined, and free will is an illusion, and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
You want to give it a go?
Go again.
Where do I restart at the conference, or I'll follow its advice a little bit more. We gotta blend in, so so things are on our side. Then we'll strike.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Right.
The all-powerful bucket.
I was a little upset that I did lose my bucket
to his
too. That
chest
was kind of
and
sucked.
entered the door on his left.
I wasn't expecting them to take it away from me like that. I didn't know they could just take it away.
Look at the thing. It's different.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Ooh, nice rooms. Fancy, smancy.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
Like Mr. Burns
to discover
style
not
room.
an
It is.
indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
The narrator's just
The
going
bucket
like
would. and he knew it.
The bucket knows.
The two of them were
Oh, hail the bucket!
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
You're really struggling.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs, trying to but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
It's hard with
yes,
the analog.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
We found a secret room. Oh, there's another one.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley things.
Stan minis.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
I wonder what happens if you get all 6. Probably nothing. Because he's been telling you nothing will happen if you get all 6.
True, and he's always... Oh, shit. Okay.
That's an elevator shaft.
Is it...
Like, you just gotta press that button to go down.
That... You sure it's not just a long drop?
Well, you've been standing over it.
I haven't crossed the yellow line yet.
Just see? Just go to the button. See?
Oh, wow. Oof, okay, I trust you now. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Alright, we'll get out of here once the Matrix, you know.
There is a way to escape it.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. The golden path.
Sometimes if you jump into a part you're not supposed to be at yet, the narrator will get all like pissed off, like, "Whoa, no, you're not. Oh shit, you're not supposed to be here." Kind of feel like
soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
Yes.
The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
What do you think of this? Kind of trippy, huh?
Hell yeah, I love the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
You want to go to the mind control facility, or do you want to escape? Follow the sign that says escape. It looks like it was written in crayon. So it looks valid.
Which one do you think?
Oh no, this is the Stanley Parable.
Well, I mean, both look pretty fake and gay to me, honestly.
You were really struggling here. You were just. It looks like you're leaning towards escape.
Well, I mean, like, when has like a big arrow leading to escape ever led to an escape? You know what I mean? That's pretty fucking fishy. And like, I've only been punished for disobeying the voice so far each time, so it's kind of like, you know.
You're gonna go to the mind control facility, aren't you?
They have the power to like trap me in like loops, like mind loops. You know what I mean? So like, escape isn't going to be the obvious way. It's going to be through the inside. Don't you think?
I don't know, actually. Oh my god. Just pick one.
I don't know. Escape? You know, the world is pretty cruel. It would be nice to be mind controlled.
Okay.
But then again, escape is also nice. The freedom. But is it really freedom if escape leads to capture?
It's very philosophical. Is it really an escape if it leads to capture?
Leroy
The truth was that at the end of this haul, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Okay, I believe him. I believe him.
Will it let you out, though? Oh, yeah, okay.
But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
Yes, much to live for. Very good.
The narrator scares you away from the escaping. Just press the button.
No, let's go back and escape.
You can't. Door's closed.
No! Okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I'm gonna be famous. I'm like inside the...
You're like in the TV room, like in the Matrix.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
It's okay, Bucket. Just we'll get out. Don't worry.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
A bucket would want to...
No! He screamed into the bucket.
So
He
when
couldn't
I played
accept
this,
it.
there
His
was
own
no
life in
bucket.
someone else's
Oh,
control.
no.
Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter.
That must have been rough
His
on you,
one
dude,
friend
doing this
in
with no
the
bucket.
entire
Can't
world.
imagine.
The bucket was not even
He could
introduced.
trust no one except...
So, like, this is kind of a different version than what I've been playing. What I played.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
I think it wants you to
he
go
and
up
the
to that
bucket would dismantle
platform
the
there.
controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world.
Yeah.
They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Yeah.
You're right.
Dark.
I know.
Fuck, really dark.
I think you're almost at the platform. Like, there's...
Oh, there. Oh, I see.
Yeah, you want to go to the facility power. I think.
Oh, I see. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Oh.
This is where it gets weird.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Well, hold up here. You know.
So turn mind control power on or off.
Well, I mean, we're in control of the facility now. Wouldn't the world be so much better if we were in charge?
You really are. You are going through the process like I thought you would. Like, that's what I like about this. You are questioning every decision placed in front of you, and you're trying to beat it, but it won't let you. Like,
so here's why I don't think it will work. Because, like, one is this whole facility is pretty sus. Another thing I'm going to say is, like, what's the point of turning it on? Because something's obviously wrong. Like, we were under the mind control, and then we woke up, but there's no one else around, right? So this whole facility, like, is not only evil, it's also not working properly.
so you're thinking off?
Yeah, like, let's just, like...
All right.
What do you say? What do you think? Like, turn it on. Like, what do you think? It's like it's just going to be a bunch of screens at empty desks and controlling people who aren't there. You know,
It's your call. It's the Stanley Parable, the Knightley Parable.
Well, mind controls idle.
I find it kind of like...
Like, my only other worry is, like, what if, like, there's something evil that's, like,
I just find it very kind of like, what's the word, ironic that you're asking me what you should do about the mind control.
Well, I just, like, kind of see it as like a team, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
We're like both stand.
I'd say go head off.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, let's just, like, free people from the system, right? Because we were in it too, so, and, like, there's really no point in turning it on if there's no one to control anyway.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, like, freeing, but, like, freeing who? Like, it may not be anyone left. It might just be us, so.
Anyways, yeah, there you go.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together.
Yes.
With one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Bucket kettles.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
See, this is different than what I had. I got the escape.
Lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
My bucket.
No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Well, I guess we're gonna try the other one.
On?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, what else are you gonna do?
So, when I picked off,
Yeah.
the door opened all the way and I escaped to freedom.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well,
Go in the door on the right, back to the staff room, and waste time in the staff
When
room.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't have my bucket.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Fuck, do you remember what
Stepping
the
into
code
his
2845.
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Nah! Let me out, let me out, let me out. Give me a steel bar to chew on at least. At least that
Feeling
lions
soothed
get that.
and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Yeah, cigarette.
Oh, it's over here.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
Yep.
Stanley thought to himself.
We're gonna take control of the system.
Find out.
I shall be emperor.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life...
What do you think of the game so far?
That's fun.
...to the world?
It's a mind trip, like, a little bit, like...
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would...
You didn't even win.
All these years ago, and you tried to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Wow, this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
Yay.
I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. These are precious additional seconds. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now?
There's no better death than going out in
when you saw
a
that
massive self-destruct nuclear detonation, taking a whole facility down with you. I'm getting more out of this than
running
you.
from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones,
I'm not
or maybe
touching
this
any
big
buttons.
red button, or this door.
It thinks you're in the other
Anything,
room.
Something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
A glorious death.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching.
Way ahead of you.
I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see
Yeah,
you
more talking. Why don't you take 20 seconds off the
This
timer?
is not
Prove
a
it.
challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going
Control?
to destroy it
I'm letting
first,
go.
So you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley.
I am.
That's 30 seconds you have. 30 seconds and
You're like, you're not scaring me, narrator.
Quite comfortable.
just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me.
Very
all
peaceful.
a part of the joke. And believe
Joke?
me, I will be
Having
laughing
fun.
at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade
Best
in
5
until
seconds
the moment
ever.
I say happily ever after.
Haha, you took me out.
Well, there's no getting out of that explosion.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't actually think he killed me.
Here, you keep the headphones on because I can still hear it.
That's okay. I can hear it through it too. That was funny.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced
See, I've never had my
the
turn with the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Nice.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes,
It is.
Stanley thought to himself. Yes,
Very
perhaps
nice.
it truly was. How
Pretty
insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Oh, look at the mess. Leaving papers all over the floor. A coffee mug.
Ugh.
A half-full coffee mug on the floor.
Someone could step on that. HR, or someone should send an email to HR about
Truly,
that.
being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together.
I do want pause like in real
Walking
life.
through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the
Why are
lounge.
people
What a
not finishing
thrilling
their
journey
coffees?
The bucket had inspired.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like they just vanished.
Right, L2 is Duck. Number 1 dad.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home.
Number 1
Here in
mom.
the employee
Or wait.
lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel home.
Oh, I hate Mondays.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Oh, there's some new stuff here. Trust the completionist instinct. Written in blood.
Crush the what instincts?
Trust the completionist instincts. And it was written in blood in the meeting room.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of
I think
this
it's a good.
revelation,
I don't know. Do you think it's a good
Stanley
idea to take the bucket with you
broke
or
down
not?
to the dumpster fire, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Man, it was scary stepping on an elevator. It's so dark.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
You can escape?
No.
The lights rose
No.
on an enormous room packed with
You
television
tried both other
screens.
things, though. You tried
What
both buttons.
horrible secret
But
this
that
place
that
holds?
message
Stanley
written in
and the bucket
blood,
both wondered to
that's new, and it
themselves.
said trust the completionist.
I don't know. It's a tough call.
I'm wondering if something different will happen.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Every outcome predicted.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish
Never.
to do? What kinds of things
The
does
bucket
a bucket
is too
want
good
to do
for that.
or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket.
There's nothing like a good
His one
old-fashioned
friend in the
existential
entire
crisis, huh?
world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power.
All right. Let's see what happens now.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
Like last
Was
time.
it over?
Not gonna let the bucket leave.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them
That'd be
wanted
cool.
to begin
Bucket
watching
on
a
roller
movie,
skates.
any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Told ya.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was
We gotta go
Stanley
with
and the
the
bucket
escape
not
route, I
about
think.
to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay, so...
Better to blow it up.
Weird.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
I don't know.
Be my Valentine.
How important is the bucket?
I'm wondering.
I say don't bring it.
I hate Mondays.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section,
What's
walked
this?
straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Nice. Nice, dude. That's fine. Wait, what?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's,
The narrator doesn't know what to do.
Oh, no,
Oh.
it's to the right, my mistake. No.
Fuck.
Right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right.
Hey,
left,
we
down,
broke the narrator.
right.
Nice.
Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Nice.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to...
What the fuck is going on here?
I'm kidding. It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Just restarts it.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley
Okay, so
decided to go to the meeting
No
room.
bucket.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Definitely gotta take that escape route this time.
When Stanley... Wait,
Uh-oh. What?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Well, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Remember, there's 3 doors there. We're going on an adventure. Yeah, it's a typical office room for you. Office building.
Yeah, really, like...
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game?
Oh,
again?
they're gonna restart
Well, I find
again.
it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Yep.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What the fuck?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I'm not remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed
You ever
it?
seen those back rooms videos, the horror videos on YouTube?
Yeah, you showed me that.
Oh yeah, it's just like that.
Except there's no crazy monster.
Yeah,
Look.
yeah.
Someone spilled their coffee and didn't...
That's new. I never saw that last time.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace
Oh my
our
gosh.
steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Good job, dude.
I know you
You thundered your way into that.
and it really paid off. So, good.
Dude, that was an awesome way to win.
I don't trust it.
I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
What are you eating?
It's one of those Tupperware takeout things that you get 50% off at Super.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get
nice.
lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Nice. Nice. It should have arrow directional markers.
See? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, Are we implying a journey such that a destination
The
is
fuck?
inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of
The
life
line's kind of
itself?
going all over the place.
Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
What the? This is a fucking head trip.
Yeah, no kidding. No shit.
Cut the music, go back, and look at that fern.
No, stop.
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story.
Will
Make
it?
sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No.
No, stop.
Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? No, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh,
The line brought us here.
Yeah,
Restart.
it's the line's fault. You should have done number 3.
What's that?
You should have said number 3.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Nice.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley.
The return of the line.
From having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it. We should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere
Okay,
in the
that's
place where we're
pointless.
trying to go, there must be a
I'm not gonna
reverse
run around in a
door
circle.
that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting
Yeah,
from
you
the
say
right,
so,
let us
Mr.
ask,
Narrator.
will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to this schedule, I restart again. Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting.
Ugh.
I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Nice.
I
Good for
won't
you, narrator.
do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle?
We broke the cycle.
Whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
I don't know.
So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination.
That is true.
I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Well,
It's the real ending?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply...
I think we need the bucket. I think the bucket's part of the...
Through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. And
Alright, we'll play along. See, this is new. And that message that there will be a reward for finding them all. The Stanley... What is this? LOL looks like 427. Ha ha ha. Is that us? 5 here, B. Just take 3 from me. Gotta collect them all. I want to go home. I want them so much. Stop kidding yourselves. There will be cleaning of this wall required. This is intriguing. I wonder if someone spilled their...
Again.
all over their fucking files.
Fucking people.
I'm wondering if, like... I think we do have to find all the figurines.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Okay, I'm going back to the
Because
name
one of the
these
clues
little
said,
Stanley figurines.
somewhere
And now I'm
small
torn
but
between
smelly for an important person.
And figures. What do you think, Stanley?
Good
What
job,
name
dude.
better
Smart.
encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp.
Okay.
No reflection.
We're vampires.
Oh, this is new.
Elevator.
What the fuck? Someone's holding a picture of someone holding a gun to a panda's head?
Poor little panda. Poor little.
This is new. I've never seen this before.
Elevator music.
What the fuck? I guess you can open some doors. Certain doors. This is a long elevator ride. And we haven't heard the narrator for a while. Something's happening. And the papers are glowing.
Where's the paper?
The elevator doesn't really go anywhere.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Remember when it said red and blue? Stanleys, I think they're called.
It was already decided on.
Yeah, the last time they talked about them.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
We'll see.
Yeah.
The door
A lot of
was not
violent
shut.
deaths have happened to us
Stanley
so
and the bucket
far.
still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Okay. Uh-oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Huh?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as
What?
Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Red bucket.
You were standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty. I don't want to read all that. Well, this is...
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Excellent. True. No.
Well, we can't get past the red velvet tape.
The cave drawing. Plus, this looks green.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The bucket is king.
But
What?
there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
This is so fucking weird.
Let him be crushed by the
Wait, what?
machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
What the fuck? Yeah, I had no idea where this game's going. So we died again.
The bucket died with us, though. That doesn't make sense.
I think you always have to have the bucket. I think the bucket is key.
I say don't take it. It seems to be better off without it.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to
All
the
our
meeting.
endings have been
Perhaps
better
it's
without
just
it.
a memo.
And we're less crazy, too. If you don't take the bucket, you're saner. You seem saner in the dialogue.
But the thing is, though, every time you don't take the bucket, you kind of...
What do you mean? We die every time we take a bucket. What has the bucket ever done for us?
I think it's part of the progression.
I'm telling you,
I like the bucket,
big
okay?
mistake. The bucket is the problem.
Not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
A large room with lots of boxes. And somewhere both red and blue.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
I say give him the
I
bucket.
can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. No. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons. Even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your
What the
relationship
fuck?
is purely superficial and convenient?
questioning her
that your life
friendship
is
with the
so
bucket.
banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really
Yeah,
tell
right.
the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
Yes.
Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years.
I mean, this doesn't make sense to a bucket and a broom. Like, maybe they might be happy to be together.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's
Look at that.
settled. No more debate.
Property
no
of
more discussion.
Stanley.
Nice.
Take a hike, broom closet, with all your
Now
meandering
people will
philosophical diatribes about coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley, Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
So he died again.
No way.
Alright, I'm gonna try something different here.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Taking the bucket.
Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
But the narrator's speaking
Stanley
differently.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be. Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through. Never mind, the bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should
Now
have
the-
alarmed him. of
Well, the
course,
bucket's been
because
speaking to us for a while, hasn't
But
it?
Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
That's one shit. I think it's got a wooden handle on the bucket too. That's good.
Yeah, it's a proper bucket.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Room with lots of boxes. Whoa, what the fuck?
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
What the
Pick
fuck?
up the phone and it...
Okay. This is different.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
What the fuck? I'm trapped in some sort of apartment.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it would ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
But it won't let me.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
I'm trapped in some sort of loop. Press circle to ignore anyone in your life except me.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket has a nice shine to it.
The bucket is like in different...
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection...
The bucket keeps being placed in different areas.
Like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier. More capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say.
What is
Do
going
anything
on
it
here?
asks.
We are not going to have
What's wrong
sex with
me?
the bucket,
I don't
are we?
understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Go back to work, Stanley.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
All right, I'm not going to take the
Perhaps he
bucket
had
this
simply
time.
missed a memo.
What the fuck? This is different.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I want to find out how we get all these figurines. We only need 2 more. And I have a theory. I think someone else went through their parable. What do you think?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, it's a different message. To be rich, is it a crime? To commit crimes, isn't it rich? What a life it would be to have to pick just one. There's that fucked up picture of the panda. Let's try the elevator again. See if maybe having the bucket stopped it from making progress. Nope, it didn't.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes
Oh,
some buttons.
he's not even letting
hey,
me
look,
enter the keypad. He's just skipping right to the...
Surprise.
He wouldn't even let me use, like, we know the drill, blah, blah, blah. I want to see what happens if I still enter the code. Or is it 2487? Oh, fuck. It's hard to see.
It is. Is that...
Oh, it won't let me. Nothing happens if you enter the code.
I think it was 2845.
2845?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's fucking dark though, eh? Honestly, I go to
28
settings and... Yeah, it's 2845. Dude, I cannot see shit. No, it's 2.
Yeah.
There we go. Nothing happened though. Weird.
Oh well. I was hoping something would happen if you still entered the
Yeah,
code.
good idea. Good idea.
Alright, we're back in this. What are they called? Dumb waiters?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
We're doing this shit over again.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with
We're in the
television
TV room.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
We've been playing this game for an hour and a half.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Oh
Each
my
bore the
God.
number of an employee
There's
in
so
the
many
building.
of them.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated?
I wonder if we can
to
escape
accept it
without the
blindly?
bucket. You know what I'm saying?
No.
That's
He
what,
refused to
that's what I was
believe.
suggested
He
like an
couldn't
hour ago. I
accept
told you,
his
don't
own
take the
life
bucket.
in someone
Because
else's
as soon as you take the
control.
bucket, he starts
Never.
sounding crazier,
It
and he
was
starts talking about the bucket's talking to you.
Wasn't
But if you
it?
don't take the bucket,
Was
he
it
just
even
treats you like a
possible?
normal person.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly
If I
blind to the
die or
world?
something while having the bucket, not having the bucket, I am going to have the biggest I told you so ever.
No, well,
Wait.
What? What?
What? Oh.
But here was the proof. The heart
I was
of
like, where the fuck are we?
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would...
Okay. We pressed off. Okay.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine.
All right.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do,
It's still opening.
or how to feel.
Oh my god.
Whatever life he lives, it
I think we're about to escape.
And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
I told you, you owe me big time.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Holy fuck. We escaped.
Victory! Only took us an hour and a half between the two of us.
Yeah. Wait. No, it's not gonna. And we're back in the office. Alright, well, we escaped.